Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain and in this video we will be creating an amazing project in Python where we will be using an amazing library in Python that is currency converter. So we will be using this library to create a desktop application which will allow us to convert any currency to a desired currency. For this we will be using an external package. For that we will be installing it first. So here we'll go to our browser and we will write pip currency converter and we'll go with the first one. So here you can see it's written currency converter PYPI. Let's click on this and you will get the package over here, and let's just copy this. Let's open our command prompt. I'll just write command prompt and paste it over here. Let's click on enter. In my case it has already been downloaded, that's why it says requirement already satisfied. In your case it will be downloaded. So once we are done with this, let's come back to our program and here I will be importing my library. Let's have a look on how this currency converter library works, and then we will be combining it with our tkinter module. That means with the help of tkinter we will be creating a desktop application, and inside this we will be using the features of our currency converter. So I'll be writing from currency converter import capital C currency converter. Now for making our currency converter work, we will be creating a variable over here. So C is equals to capital C currency converter, and I'll be giving it a function here. Once we have given it a function here we will be writing print C.convert. So this function will allow us to convert any amount of any currency to our desired currency. For example, if I want to give 12, that means I want to convert 12 US dollars. And we need to pass this USD inside the string. So I want to convert 12 US dollars into INR. For that I will be writing another set of double quotations, and I will be writing INR inside it. And let's run and see what output we'll get over here. So as soon as I run it, I'll get the output 987.78, which is the conversion of 12 US dollars into INR. Once we are done with this, what we need to do now is that we need to import our tkinter here. So we will be also importing our tkinter. So some call it tkinter, some call it tkinter. So I'll be writing import tkinter. And once we are done with this, let's start with creating a window over here. So first of all, let me define a window. For that, I'll be writing, some people write it as root. I'm writing it as window. So window is equals to tk.capital TK. And because I have not given any alias over here, that's why it's showing me an error. So we will be importing this tkinter module as alias tk. So wherever we need to use this tkinter word, there we will be using tk instead. So we will be creating a window here. Once we have created a window, we will be giving its geometry. So window.geometry. And let's define the geometry. So you need to pass the geometry inside the double quotation where you can define the width of the window. So let's say I want the width of the window as 500, and just like how we see it in our images, that if you see the properties of any images, the pixels are given like this, that 500x, and then for the height any value is given. So for that also we will be giving, so I'll be giving 360. So 500 times 360, that means 500 is the width and 360 is the height. And also let's give it a title, that window.title. So we will be defining the title over here. So the title of the window would be currency converter. Once we are done with this, let me just put it inside a main loop. So window.main loop, and let's have a look how does it looks like. So as soon as I run it, it's giving me this output. Also it has created a window over here whose title is currency converter. Once we have created this window, I'll just close it as of now. And let's just also remove this print part because we do not have to print it again and again. So we just have to create a currency converter over here. Now for the currency converter, let's create a label. So I'll be giving it a label on the top. So we will be using the widgets of tkinter. So label is equals to tk.capital L label, which I'm defining inside the window. And the text of this window would be, so text is equals to, again I'll be writing currency converter. Also if you want, you can define the font here. So if you want to change the font size, because if right now I just write it like this, so I'm not just placing it right now, I'm just writing .pack, and let's run and see what output we'll get. So as soon as I run it, you can see the font is very small right now. So if you want to increase the font size here, all you need to do is put a comma over here, write font is equals to, and here we will be writing inside the double quotations times, and I want to give the size of it as 20, and I want it to be bold, so bold. So here we have different fonts in tkinter, so you can just Google search all the different types of fonts. I like times personally, so that's why I have used times, 20 and bold. You can choose italic, underline, whatever you want. Okay, so I have given bold over here. Let's run and see how the output looks like right now. So here you can see the size of the text has increased a bit. Also, instead of pack, I will be using place, so that I can place everything according to my location. So instead of pack, I'll be using place, and then we can decide the coordinates that's on x-axis. So my x-axis would be, let's say 100, and my y-axis would be, let's say 40. And let's have a look on how does it looks like. So I'll just click on the cross and let's run it. Okay, we need to shift it a little bit more, so let's keep it as 120. I guess 120 would be better. So yeah, I'll just not run it again. So we have given a label over here. Now we need to give another label. So what we need to ask the user is, we need to ask three things. That is our amount, that how much amount that person wants to convert. Second is the currency that person is using, and the third one is the desired currency. So there will be three entries, that means three user inputs over here. For the same, we will be placing three labels. So I'll be writing our label 1 is equals to tk dot label window comma text is equals to. So inside the text we will be writing enter amount here, and in front of it we will be giving our entry widget where a person can write down the amount. So enter amount here. Again, if you want, you can define the font over here. So I'll just copy this font from here and decrease the size by writing the same thing, but here I'll be just putting it as 16 maybe. So 16 bold, and again dot place. The placement will be a little bit left, so I will be reducing my x here. So x is equals to 70 comma y is equals to, so I'll be increasing it more than 40 obviously. So let's keep it 100 and let's see how the output looks like, and let's run it. So as soon as I run it, this is how it looks like. If you want, we can shift it a little bit more left, and if you want it like this, you can keep it like this as well. Okay. Now after this, in front of enter amount here, so we have this window enter amount here. In front of it, we need to provide with the entry widget where a person can write the amount. So just like how in websites you write username, in front of username there is the entry widget where you write the username. In front of password there is the entry widget where you write the password. Similarly, we need to create a widget over here. For that, we will be writing entry is equals to tk dot capital E entry window comma, there is no text inside it, so you can just leave it like this, and we will just place it. So place, later we will be changing its place, not the coordinates but the location of this dot place, but as of now let's just keep it so that we can see the structure here. So let's keep its placement as, so x-axis would be increased but the y-axis will remain the same. So we can keep the x-axis as, let's say, so the width of the whole screen is 500, so we can keep it around 300 or 270-ish. So let me just have a look, that half of it would be somewhere here, and we can keep it like 270-ish. So we'll be writing 270 and y is equals to 100. Once we are done with this, let's run again and see how does it looks like. So this is how it looks like. If we want, we can shift it a little bit down as well, because we have increased the font size, no? That's why the placement has changed a little bit. So we can keep it as 110 instead of 100, and let's run it again. Okay, it's a little bit more down now. So instead of this, let's keep it 105, and let's run it again, and I hope this time it looks better. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. Now similarly, just like how we have written enter amount here, similarly we will be writing that enter currency here, and for that I will be creating a label again. So instead of creating it again, all you can do is you can copy paste the previous one, but you do need to change the different certain things over here. So I'll be copy pasting both this entry and the label thing. So let's paste it here and let's call this entry as entry 1. Let's call this label as label 2 and this entry as entry 2. In our label 2, we will not be writing enter amount here, we will be writing enter currency here, or we can also write enter your currency here. We can shift the x by a little bit because the size will now increase. So here you can keep maybe 40 and y would be 100 plus, let's keep it 50, so 150. And this one, for this one the x-axis will remain the same for the entry and the y will increase by 50. So 105 plus 50 would be 155. Let's run and see how it looks like. And as soon as I run it, okay, it looks a bit better, but we can shift this enter your currency with a little bit more left. So let's keep it 30 instead of 40 and let's run it again. So as soon as we run it, it says enter your currency here where we have given the entry widget. Similarly, lastly, we need to ask for the desired currency. So enter your desired currency and let's copy this part and let's paste it here. Now this will be label 3. And the entry widget will also be the entry 3. Inside the label, the text will be enter your desired currency. And because again we can see the size of the text is a little bit bigger, so we need to reduce the x. Let's reduce it by 10 more. So let's keep it 20 and the y-axis will be increased by 50. So it will become 200 in this case. And this one will become 205, so 205. The x of this will remain the same and let's run and see how the output looks like. So as soon as we run it, this is how it looks like and we need to shift this with a little bit more and here we can keep it as 15 instead of 20. So from our x-axis it would be at 15 and let me just close this window and run it again. So as soon as I run it, okay, it looks a little bit better now. It can be shifted by 5 more if you want, but yeah, we can keep it like this. Okay, once we are done with this, we will be using a button over here that as soon as we will click on a button, it will show us the output. Suppose we have written, let's say I have written 12 over here, I have written US dollars here and I have also written INR here, but what will make it trigger? For that we need a button here, so that we will click on the button and it will make a certain event here and show us inside a label. So show us the output inside the label here. So let's create a button. So button is equals to tk dot button. Inside this I'll be writing that I'm defining the window and the text over here would be, so you can simply write click or enter. So I'll be going with the click option, that I'll be writing click inside this button. If you want, you can again change the font. So same font we will be keeping and let's copy this. Let's put a comma and paste it here and lastly let's place it. So I want it somewhere in the center, so let's keep it as 220. So x-axis would be 220 and our y-axis would be somewhere, so in 205 plus 50, so 200 plus 50 would be 250. And let's run and see how does it look like. Right now we have not given any command here that once we click on this button what should happen, but we will be giving the command as well. So let's run and see how does it basically looks like. So yeah, it looks good that here we can enter the amount, we can enter your currency. So that means we can write 12 here, we can write USD here, we can write INR here. But if I click on this button, nothing is happening right now. So we need to give a command to it. To give a command, we will be writing on the top. So on the top, we will be writing DEF clicked. Clicked means that when we will click on this button, what should happen? So what should happen? For that we are creating a function that as soon as we click on this, it will collect all the 3 texts. That means it will be collecting this 12, this USD and INR from the entry widgets and then convert it into the desired output. So for that, let's first collect the data from all the 3 entries. For that I'll be writing amount. That amount is in our entry 1. So entry 1 dot get, open close the parentheses. Also this entry is in just like how in user input we get the output, that means the default value over here is string when we take a user input in Python. Similarly here also it is string. If we are taking any input from the user, it is coming, the default data type of that thing is string here, but we need to convert it into an integer. For that I'll be writing int, and let's close it. So this amount will come in integer. Then we will ask for currency1, that currency1 is equals to, now here we do not need to use the integer because we will be getting this output inside the string. So here we will be writing entry2 dot get, open close the parentheses. The dot get function over here will get us the output, that means whatever we have written over there, it will get that thing from there and it will put it inside this command. And then here we will be taking currency2. Currency2 over here will be entry3 dot get, open close the parentheses. Right now you can see that this get thing has been highlighted. Why it has been highlighted? Because we have placed them in their proper position and now we cannot extract anything from them. To extract anything from them, we will be again we will be removing this place from here. So I'll just copy this from here, and at the bottom of my button I will be writing the very same thing but in a different manner, that entry1 dot, and after dot we will paste the same thing, that entry1 dot place, and it will come wherever we want it to come. And let's copy it for this one as well. So copy, remove for entry2, and similarly entry2 dot place and the x and y axis. Similarly we will do the same thing for our entry3. So let's copy this, let's remove it from here, and entry3 and paste. Okay, and now you will also notice that highlighted thing, that highlighted error over here which we were about to get if we run this program. So that error has gone from here. Okay, so once we have collected all the 3 entries from here, we need to put it in our formula that we have used on the top. So let's create any variable, let's call it data. Data is equals to C. Inside the C we have the currency converter. So C dot convert, we will be using the exact same formula, but instead of 12 we will be writing amount. Instead of our USD we will be writing currency1. So currency1. Instead of our INR we will be writing currency2. So CUR2. Once we have used all of them, let's put it inside a label. So I'll be creating a label, and we have already created label 1, label 2, label 3. So let's create label 4 where we will be writing this data. So in label 4 we will be writing it, label 4 is equals to tk dot label. The first thing would be window, comma, the text inside it would be this data. If you want you can change the font here, so we'll be using the same font. Let's copy this font from here, let's put a comma and paste it here, and lastly dot place. So wherever we want to place, we need to place it below the button. So below the button for the x coordinate we can keep it the same, that 220 should be the x coordinate, and y can be 250 plus 50, that means 300. So here let's keep the x as 200 instead of 220, and let's keep the y as 300. And once we are done with this, to this button we will be giving this command. So we have created this function called as clicked. Now we need to give this inside the button, that as soon as we click on the button this command should be executed. So for that, inside our button in the end I'll put a comma, write command is equals to clicked. Remember one thing, that clicked is a function, and you need and generally when we call a function we call it with the open close parentheses, but here we do not have to call it with the open close parentheses, we just have to write clicked here. And let's run and see what output we'll get here. So as soon as I run it, here we have a currency converter. Let's write 12, let's write USD, let's write INR. Let's click on click, and here we have got the output, that whatever amount we wanted, it is over here. Similarly, if you want to convert it into another currency, for example, I want to, instead of 12 US dollars, I want to convert 12 EUR, that means European dollars, into INR, and here we will be getting 958, that is the amount in our Indian rupees. So I hope guys that this program is clear to you, that how within a very simple steps we have created a currency converter. All we need to do is use this amazing library called as currency converter. So there are many libraries available in Python which will allow you to convert the currencies, but I found this one as more accurate. So you can use this one, or if you find anything else that is more accurate, you can use that also. Almost all of them works the same way. If you want, you can check the documentation as well. So here we have currency converter. One of them is also called as forex, but I found this one more accurate, so I'm using this one. If you find another one, you can use that too. And along with this currency converter, we have used the tkinter module to create a desktop application. So I hope guys that everything over here is clear to you and you have no doubt and no questions. I hope this content was useful for you, and if you find it useful, do like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Thank you.